everybody, welcome to my Pete and Pole Air Camper / RV7 YouTube video channel. Thanks for stopping by, I appreciate it. If you've been here before and you've looked at some of the other videos, you've probably noticed the long, boring introduction at the beginning of each one. I am redoing that now. I just want to cut it down, keep it nice and short and sweet and to the point. So again, welcome. One thing I also wanted to make note of is I'm going to include some contact information for those who have questions and would potentially like some help with their project. Haters, don't waste your time. I am Johnny on the spot with the delete button, and I will delete your email post haste and not even read it, so don't waste my time, don't waste yours. Anybody else looking for some help, advice, have questions, concerns, whatever, you'll now be able to contact me directly. I'm quite regular on email, so I should be able to get a response to you relatively quick. I've got a ton of photographs for both aircraft, so if you need some clarification on something, chances are I've got detailed photographs and I'll be able to help you out. Let's see, other than that, I think that's it. I'm going to keep this short. Again, if you like what you see and you want to help me out to get through my RV7 build project, you can visit my GoFundMe. Just do a search for Caretaker Aero. That's Caretaker with a K. I also have an Amazon wish list. There's some pieces, parts in there that I could use. Again, if you feel moved enough to help me out, it'd be greatly appreciated. Or if you want to just contact me directly, you know, we can talk about whatever, and so I'll just leave it at that. Anyway, thanks for coming by, I appreciate it, and again, hopefully you'll find these videos worth your time, and that's that. So let's get back to building, and I am now going to shut up, and I'll talk to you later. So back to the fuel tank, and I say back to the fuel tank because for me, in real time, it's probably been close to a month since I've done anything on the airplane, and I left off working on the fuel tanks, so now I am getting back at it. It might be temporary, but I've got some time, so I'm going to try to invest it in this fuel tank. So here you can see that I've started scuffing all the areas with Scotch-Brite that are going to require fuel tank sealant. And obviously it's the locations for the ribs and the locations for the stiffeners that go on the bottom of the fuel tank skin. And then of course around here is where the baffle gets put in place and sealed. So those have been scuffed. I use a really aggressive Scotch-Brite pad. I use a gray pad, a gray Scotch-Brite, to do the scuffing. Another note, I think I've talked about this in another video. I don't know how well you'll be able to see it, but I number everything. So when I put down this, what is that? I just said what it was a minute ago. Stiffener. When I have my stiffeners in place, I number each stiffener and I number its location. So the same stiffener goes back into the same location. And I do that with the ribs as well. Just about everything. So this is ready to go except for the cleaning. I've scuffed it, but now I have to come back with some alcohol and clean all these locations really well. And I do the same thing with the stiffeners. Those get scuffed where the tank sealant's going to go, and those will get cleaned. The flange for the fuel tank, or of course it's for the fuel tank, for the filler neck, so that flange gets scuffed and cleaned. Don't forget your little clamp. And of course the ribs, which I have not done yet. Got them piled up here, but these still need to be, the flanges still need to be scuffed and of course cleaned. And all the other little tidbits, anything that gets fuel tank sealant put on them. Where's the rest of my stuff? I believe it's over here. Here are the various pieces, parts. This is the attach bracket. Of course, that gets riveted with this reinforcement plate, and those will have to get fuel tank sealant as well, so these all need to be scuffed. Here the access cover hardware, another reinforcement plate. So as I get to it, I'll scuff these and clean them as well. So that's kind of what I'm working on now. So I'm going to go ahead and get this tank cleaned with alcohol, and I'm going to get these stiffeners cleaned with alcohol, and if all goes well, I might be able to break out the fuel tank sealant and start putting these in place. This is my fuel tank scuffed and cleaned, ready for fuel tank sealant. So like I said in my other video, I Scotch-Brite first with a very coarse Scotch-Brite, and then of course I followed that up with, I started with alcohol, but I ultimately cleaned it with acetone because I think it just cleans better, and it doesn't seem to leave as much of a film as I think some of the alcohols do. So this has been cleaned with acetone, and I'm assuming it goes without saying, but I'll say it anyway. Any chemical that you plan on using to do your cleaning, make sure you take the required safety precautions. Some of this stuff gets pretty nasty to breathe and even to touch. So plenty of fresh air and gloves, mask, whatever you need. So that's it. So now that I've scuffed and cleaned, I'm going to go ahead and dimple. I like to dimple last because it just makes it easier to Scotch-Brite when the surfaces are flat. When you've got all of these holes dimpled, the Scotch-Brite over that is tedious, and it makes a lot more of a mess anyway. So this is how I do it. I save the dimpling for last. So the next step is the stiffeners, or the next step are the stiffeners, I guess, and those have been Scotch-Brited and cleaned as well. So I'm going to go ahead and dimple those with the squeezer, and of course this is now going to get dimpled with the DRDT2. A note on dimpling fuel tanks. For me, I have the fuel tank dies and the substructure dies that I use for a lot of my dimpling. So all of these dimple holes, these have been dimpled with the fuel tank dies. Those dies are supposed to dimple a little deeper and a little wider to basically make up for the fuel tank sealant that's going to go under the head of each rivet. So they allow for that extra thickness from the sealant by making these a little bit deeper. And then on the ribs, the rib flanges get dimpled with the substructure die. Those dies are the same way. They're a little bit deeper and a little bit wider because there's always going to be a dimple that nests inside of the dimple on the ribs. It's just like I had done with the wing skins. I dimple the rib flanges with the substructure dies to accept the dimple from the skin. So these dimples on the fuel tank skin are fuel tank dies, and then the dimples on the fuel tank ribs, the ribs themselves, those dimples are substructure. I use substructure die for those. And then of course these here, these large ones, these are just a standard dimple for a number 8 screw. These get screwed onto the fuel tank attachment strip, the strip that's between the fuel tank and the leading edge. And then the screws along the spar are the same way. These get dimpled with the number 8 dimple. The filler neck flange, that gets dimpled with the fuel tank dies, because of course it's going to be the flush rivet that will go through here with tank sealant underneath the head. So you use fuel tank dies for these. And then the flange itself, the filler neck flange itself, that gets countersunk to accept these dimples. And then your drain hole pattern, that does not get dimpled at all, because the drain flange goes on the outside of the tank, it goes on this side. That gets countersunk for flush rivets. So on this side will just be the shop head. So these don't get any dimpling at all. Alright, so once again, fuel tank dimples, the ribs get the substructure dimples. These are number 8s. This gets nothing. And this is also the fuel tank dies. Alright, so the dimpling on the skin is done, the cleaning is done. I'm going to go ahead and start dimpling the flanges on the ribs. Hello again, everybody, and as usual, thanks for coming by. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you found it worthy, and again, as always, hopefully you found something that was worth your time. So thanks again for stopping by, and again, making this short and sweet. I've got contact information available now, so if you feel the need to help me out with my RV7 project, feel free to email me, or you can go to my GoFundMe, as I said in the beginning, at just do a search for Caretaker Arrow. That's Caretaker with a K. And again, I've got the Amazon wish list. And for you RV7 guys and girls out there, if you watch these videos and are moved to purchase an RV kit of your own, if you'd include my build number with your first order, Vans will give me $100. It's kind of like a referral, I guess. So if you were to do that, I would greatly appreciate it. It's no money out of your pocket. It's just something Vans does as an incentive. So as I said, if you decide to build and you order your first kit, if you would include my builder number, I'd appreciate it. And all this contact information will be in the description of each video. So check out the description and do what you feel you need to do, and I would appreciate any help. And again, if you need some further assistance, contact me. I've got photographs, I've got videos. We can communicate directly, and hopefully I can give you some further guidance if you want it. So that's it. Again, thanks for stopping by. Come back frequently. I try to do a video or two every week if I can. So subscribe, keep coming back, and I will talk to you again soon. All right, thanks.